Okay, Vinland Saga chapter 210. Harsh realities are setting in deeply for pretty much all of the characters here. Just like the cliffhanger that we had at the end of the last chapter, where Ivyar got his hand sliced off, his sword, the only sword in Arnid, stolen from him as various huts burn down around them and arrows are being pelted and just everything is just falling into disaster. I've been saying for a while that I've wanted it to cut back to Thorfinn to see what he's up to, but we are kind of giving a similar thing happening here with this chapter. I think it makes a lot of sense. I have a small point here that may seem unrelated, but I was rewatching some of the 90s Rurouni Kenshin anime, and at the end of the Kyoto arc, there's this episode where there's a doctor character talking about Kenshin, and she says a line that I really, really like that is something that I kind of relate to this chapter of Vinland Saga, where she says, in the eyes of a doctor, Kenshin is just somebody that happens to possess above average physical ability, but he's still flesh, he's still blood, and all of the years of physical exertion and fighting and battle scars and wounds, they eventually take a toll, and there's only so much the human body can take. At the end of the day, they're still human. And that's kind of how I look at Thorfinn in this chapter. Now, I didn't realize how severe his wound was when he got it either. There was that one chapter where the natives first started shooting arrows, and Thorfinn kind of like threw himself in front of Einar and Bug Eyes in order to protect them, and he did get hit. He fought back, he took him out or whatever, but he got hit, and it seems to be severely affecting his breathing, which means it's punctured a lung. And that is something that Thorfinn, he has always been depicted as an extremely strong character, extremely resilient character, a really good fighter, a very intelligent fighter, but he is still human. And he's going to be subject to those human injuries. And there are some injuries you can get in battle, in combat, that are literally death sentences, right? Now, he may be able to survive this particular wound, but the bleeding out, puncturing of a lung, difficulty breathing in the situation he's at, while also being hunted down, knowing that even by the time he gets back to Arnid, they're not going to be able to bust out the Norse department to immediately work on this situation with whatever they can in order to fix this. So there is a potential that this could be a life-threatening wound. Because of that, it's slowing him down. It's making it difficult for him to breathe. And Thorfinn gets hit with 2 more arrows in the back. I'm going to go in order of the manga here. So he's having difficulty breathing. He's struggling. He's going through the woods. He almost gets hit a couple of times. Somebody jumps out from the bushes to attack him. Thorfinn does manage to take him down. He spears him down to the ground. But as he's there, he's noticing that he can't breathe. And then he gets pelted with 2 arrows in the back. So one looks like it went just under his left shoulder blade, and the other one looks like it's like almost dead center in his mid-back. And I don't know how close that is to his spine or if it got to his spine or whatever, but these are serious places to be shot, right? Along with his original injury. So the idea of Thorfinn making it out of this manga alive seems to be getting grimmer and grimmer by the day. And honestly, right after this scene in the chapter, it went into, well, we see Hild. I'll talk about Hild here in a second, but it went right into like a vision, like a dream sequence, basically. And Vinland Saga has done this multiple times. He's had dream sequences in the first arc where he was talking to his father. There's obviously the very famous one from the slave arc where he sees Valhalla, and everything. So Vinland Saga is not unknown for doing these dream sequences, especially with Thorfinn. But here, it just seems different. It seems different, and maybe it's because it's the culmination of everything that he's been attempting to do for so long. It's kind of like when you see your life's work destroyed right in front of your eyes, which is essentially what's happening here. I mean, think about all the things that Thorfinn had to do to get to this point. Like his horrible upbringing, his horrible youth, being a slave, escaping that, having to go through the entire journey to get the funds to be able to do this, having to acquire his team, having to go through the Baltic Sea arc, and all of that, and that war, trying to get here, trying to get everybody on the same page, trying to be a leader while also trying to show people a different way than what they were used to, attempting to try to change, the culture of everything just himself with a few people that have his back. And managing to get to a point where you build a village and you build all of these wheat fields and everything, and you make friends with the natives, and you go through all of that, and now, symbolically, he's seeing the burning wheat fields of like everything that he took all that time to grow now being destroyed. And it's just like in the slave arc of Vinland Saga, they talk about, creation versus destruction, and it's always been talked about in different stories as well, that creation is way more difficult than destruction. In order to plant a seed, cultivate the land, water it, properly, make sure it gets the right nutrition, the right amount of sunlight, taking enough time to do it, taking care of it. In order to create wheat is a long, drawn-out process that takes a lot of time, effort, energy, love, and care. But in order to destroy wheat, all you have to do is set it on fire. And it's kind of works as the symbolism here as when it comes to peace between people. In order to build up to peace, it takes so much work and so much communication and so much planning and perseverance. But to tear it away, all it takes is one person swinging the sword. And so it all erupts into flames. Now, I really did like the cameo here with Thorkel. I'd say my only gripe with the Vinland arc is that there's no Thorkel. I love Thorkel. I love when he shows up. Here, I like how they utilized him, because he did say before Thorfinn went to Vinland that war will break out there too. And Thorkel, although he can be an exaggerated character at times, right? Just the motherfucker's wrestling bears and, going nuts in war and recreating images of The Shining. As much as he can be used as an exaggeratory character, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to this. And he also has the benefit of age. He's a much older character, a more experienced character, a more seasoned character. He has wisdom to him. Like, Thorkel is not an idiot. He has wisdom to him. And so I like that they used him here. At least it was a way for them to use him. I don't know if the actual character himself will ever kind of show back up in the manga, but I like the way that they did utilize him here. And then Thorfinn kind of hears what he believes the other characters would say. Like, he sees Ivyar saying it was his fault. He sees Einar saying that, we're not going to leave our need. We spent too long building this place up. I refuse to leave. Where are we going to go? He says this is the end of our experiment. As you see the wheat and the flames, the kind of the sparks of the flames around the wheat, he says this is the end of the experiment there. And he talks about, if we couldn't do it here in Vinland, where could we possibly build a land of peace? And just like the grim reality of real physical injury, where can you build a land of peace? Because it seems like eventually this is destined to happen. There is a silver lining, though, I think, when it comes to the themes of Vinland Saga, and that is with the character of Hild. Thorfinn cannot single-handedly change the world, right? No single person can, usually, right? It's a very rare thing if that ever happens. But he did change Hild. He changed her from being a vengeful person that vowed Thorfinn's death into being the person that is literally responsible for saving his life right here. So she got his back. She was taking people out without killing them, taking them down by shooting arrows in their legs. Now, we don't see the natives that shot Thorfinn, right? But I'm assuming she took them down the same way. It says she was running low on arrows. She had like 4 arrows left. I think there were 3 natives. So, that makes enough sense to me. I figured she probably took them down the same way as she took down the other characters. But she was able to save Thorfinn here, and she's carrying him out. And I think it's important because it's only because of who Thorfinn is as a person and what he inspired in Hild that has allowed this to happen. So what I think, at least this is building towards trying to say, is that, you can't change the world all at once, but you can have influence over other people. You can inspire other people. You can make enough of a difference that you can change this person who literally vowed vengeance on Thorfinn himself. Because remember, Thorfinn killed Hild's father, right? But now she's his lifeline. And it's only because of who Thorfinn was as a person. And It's through his actions. It's through what he's actually done. Not just him talking about it. Not just him saying, I want to do this. It's through Hild watching him do those things. So I think that that's kind of in line of what Vinland Saga is going for, at least right here, is that, you know, Thorfinn is making a difference. It might not be as grandiose as he wants it to be, but he's making a significant difference, right? She even says, if there were more idiots like you, maybe we really could have fewer wars and make more idiot friends. And I think that's pretty profound, right? For what the story is trying to say. That does not solve their situation currently, though. And so they're going, and she's talking to him a lot. And what I think this is also trying to keep him conscious. You know, she's talking about, you know, think of a name for your son and all that kind of stuff, because you don't want people to fall unconscious a lot of the times in these situations, you know, because that could spell death. So if he's conscious, if he's aware, if he's thinking, if he's responding, at least we know that he's still alive. You know, he's still functioning properly. So I think a lot of her talking to him is also like, just keep him, like, think about this. Like, what's a name for your kid? What are we doing here? Like, you know, it's just like, keep him talking. And then they get to, at the end, we see Polmuk, who we have not seen in a long time. And I knew it was going to be him. Like, I saw the shadow. There's a shadow of one singular native character. I'm like, come on, it's obviously Polmuk. And it is. But he was having issues with everybody getting sick from the rats and stuff like that. But he is friends with Thorfinn. Or at least they were. You know, they were pals. They had introductions together. They played different games together. They've communicated several times. Although I don't know what Polmuk could really do to get them out of this situation, because they're still being pursued by a bunch of other natives. The only thing I could think is maybe he knows like a different route through the forest to get them back to Arneed quicker. But I don't know what he could really do beyond that. But I don't know how they're going to really get out of the situation. I mean, they could convince them to leave, like to let them leave, right? But I think that at least the group that's already at the village, I don't think that they really are going to care. You know, and then you got to think, well, who could actually do anything at this point? I mean, you got Cordelia's still there, you know, but we've already seen that's more of like a defensive thing. And I think that maybe that's what the story is going to go towards. But you know, I'm at a little bit of a loss beyond that. I don't know how else. Maybe Polmuk is going to be the guy. Like maybe he's going to stand up and do something like, you know, in Thorfinn's place. I don't really know. But man, I see character deaths happening before the end of the series. I mean, shit, what the hell is happening with Ivyar? I mean, is it going to end with just his hand being cut off, or are they going to finish the job? Like, now that we have these two, you know, we're following Thorfinn's side, and then we're following, and there might be a third side. We might see Einar and Bug Eyes. Like, you know, they're not back yet. So we might have 3 different sides of what's going on here. I don't know. I don't know. Plus, you know, I hear mixed things about how long this manga has left. You know, some people are saying that like it's gonna be less than 20 chapters. Like I don't know how you do this. But goddamn, and it's gonna be a sad day when Vinland Saga ends, man. It's gonna be a sad day. Like I really enjoy this manga, man. I think it's a really good story, and I think when this is all said and done, when this arc is over, when we go back and reread the Vinland arc of Vinland Saga, I think we're going to have a whole new appreciation for it. You know, I think that it's going to really stand out and stand up with the others. Like, maybe not as good as the Slave arc and the prologue, but, like, it's going to be right there. It's going to be pretty close. I think when it's over, it'll be better than Baltic Sea. Although it doesn't have Garm. I really fucking miss Garm. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on Vinland Saga 210. Really good chapter. We had a 2-month wait, but, you know, if I say let Yukimura cook. Plus, if Vinland Saga doesn't really have a lot of chapters left, man, I want to draw it out. I want to appreciate it while we still have it. You know, I don't want the ending to be too soon. You know, I'd rather draw it out for at least like another 2 years or so if we can, but who knows. Anyways, guys, yeah, let me know what you thought. If you read the chapter, let me know where you think it's going to go. What do you think Polmuk is going to do here? I think he's going to, obviously I think he's going to help them, but I don't really know how. You know, that's kind of the thing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Please give the video a like and a comment to help it out in the algorithm. I would really appreciate it if you did so. Share it with other Vinland Saga fans. Let's get this Vinland Saga message out there, man. I'm always preaching the gospel of Vinland Saga. Great series. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you later.